Watching the liberal corporate media tricks backfire so bad that they threatened to sue the target of their ambush live on TV is pretty much as good as it gets. That is TV gold. And this is what you get with people like Corey Lewandowski. And I got to tell you, man, when I heard Donald Trump say that he was bringing back Corey Lewandowski as part of the America First coalition, I was pretty damn excited because this guy absolutely slays when he's talking to the media. He's too sharp, he's too witty, and he's too far ahead of the average media propagandist. And honestly, there is no more average of a propagandist than MSNBC's Ari Melber. And Ari, of course, like all of them, he's got the duty and directive from the machine to destroy anything and everything RFK Jr. related. But unfortunately for Ari, Corey Lewandowski is indeed back.
And can you tell us what role RFK Jr. would play in health policy? We're hearing reports he could be involved in a transition team.
Well, RFK Jr. has been someone who's been very steadfast in making sure that when it comes to the decisions that affect your body, you get to choose. And what we saw was government mandates, whether you're a government employee at the local level, the state level, or the federal level, being forced to take an injection in order to save your job. And RFK was against that. By the way, I think a lot of Americans were against that.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I'll let you finish. As you know, Corey, I'll always give you time. You're talking about policy, and you're referring to something that is true. There was a wide national debate about government requirements. I asked you, though, about RFK's actual conspiracy theories. Are you going to tell me that you and Donald Trump think COVID itself was hatched to target people by race, or are you going to reject that part of his agenda?
Ari, I'm not here to answer questions for RFK Jr. He's a big man. He can do that on his own. He's been on television a number of times to answer his own questions. What I am here to tell you is that he has a microphone to an audience who's very concerned that the government mandated vaccines into their children and themselves in order to keep their jobs. And there's real Americans who lost their jobs and their livelihoods because of what the government did to them. And I think when it comes to RFK, specifically those moms who have young children, they're very concerned about what is being injected into their children, whether it's through the food supply or through these vaccines. And RFK has an opportunity to go out and talk about the fact that he was right. The government should not have had to mandate those. We don't know the full impact of what was mandated by the government on the long-term repercussions that it could potentially cause. So we're very much in line with RFK on that position.
All right. I got your answer on that. We have the headlines about you. You're not the whole focus of this interview.
But here's the funny thing. I mean, this interview was about him. Basically, it was solely about him. I mean, Ari Melber, for whatever reason, actually believed that he could outsmart Corey Lewandowski. And I honestly, I can't imagine Ari Melber thinking that there was anyone out there on the planet that he could actually outsmart, but he thought he could. I mean, he thought that he could pretend to talk about things that were actually important to the 2024 election, pretend to talk about things that are actually important to today, to his viewers, to everybody. But instead, MSNBC wants to talk about an interview from years ago. You know, they want to try to ambush this guy, and it all goes pretty haywire from there, man. And just so we all know the rules, if you try to ambush someone and they end up making you look so bad that you freak out and try and threaten to sue them, you lost. No matter what happened. I mean, you lost. Every bit of smarts you thought you had backfired.
Don't ever remember the president ever asking me to get involved with Jeff Sessions or the Department of Justice in any way, shape, or form ever.
That wasn't true, was it, sir?
I heard that.
And that was not true, was it?
I have no obligation to be honest with the media because they're just as dishonest as anybody else. Perhaps I was inaccurate at that time.
Can you state for the record? Let me ask you. I'll give you the question. I'll give you the question. You can get the answer.
Back then?
We heard you on the campaign, 2024. Now I want to turn to this to deal with it. First time you've been back since then. Do you want to state for the record that what you stated on air was false because people are listening to you about the campaign, and why should they believe you if you're lying about other things?
Ari, if we're going down this road, are you going to state that Donald Trump had a bandage on his ear just for a spectacle? Are you going to state that that was false? The guy got shot in the head, and you said the only reason he had a bandage on his ear, I can read you the quote if you want, that you said it was just for a spectacle. So if you want to apologize,
two things. You're not answering the question, Corey.
Ari, you're not
answering the question.
Do you take back your statement?
I know what you're referring to, and at the end of the interview, we can touch base on that. We're going to finish this question. I will return to that. But the question on the table is, do you admit now for the record that when asked point blank about Donald Trump, I said I'll go to it at the end, and I will. I'll do that for you. Okay, but right now, the question is, you agreed to come on and be interviewed. You got time.
I absolutely did.
Now I'm asking you this. Do you admit that you were stating that falsely at the time, because the investigation was about whether Donald Trump was trying to get you to get Sessions to shut down a lawful probe.
Ari, if you tell me that you admit that you were wrong, that Donald Trump wasn't having a bandage on his ear for spectacle, then I'll take you for your word. So you tell me that you were wrong.
So you're not. I told you I'll come back to that at the end, because I will, but you're not going to answer the question.
So, Ari, listen, here's the deal, man. I'm with you to answer questions, but you can't ask me something when you're not willing to say that you were wrong too. Right? So admit
I told you I'll come back to that. I mean, again, the viewers are smart. Corey, the viewers are smart. They understand that having been busted under oath, you admitted that. You said, quote, I have no obligation to be honest with the media. And so this is relevant because even though I'm being fair and giving you time, if you admit under oath that you were not telling the truth, it is relevant now. And now you seem to be unable to address that. I'll play one more exchange from your House hearing. Take a look. Hey, you're a clear, straight speaker.
Straight.
I gave you time. I didn't lead with this. I gave you time to talk about 2024. You got that time. And this is now your chance to address this. And you're not addressing it. That's fine.
Ari, you're not
people can read that for themselves.
You're not addressing
you want me to respond to you now we're at the end of the interview? You want me to respond to that?
Okay.
I'd be happy to, since we're on live air. I'm gonna respond to you on live air. I quoted a New York Times article that said, at the convention, Donald Trump was his own biggest prop. It was a New York Times quote about how he had become such an important figure in rebounding from what was a horrific assassination attempt. Fox News, which Corey, I said I'd address it. I'm going to finish. Fox News, many viewers may not know about this, but apparently you do, and some do. Fox News, which has been caught in defamation, ran a false piece, falsely stating that I said something else that I didn't say. So I stand on that. I stand on the New York Times
quote.
So you
didn't say this bandage was a prop, a spectacle from a candidate who was obsessed with spectacles.
Mr. Lewandowski, I did not say that. That is a false quote.
Right here. It's clear.
What you have is a false quote. What you have is a false quote. And I'm putting you on notice. If you continue to repeat falsely that I said that, you will be potentially in a defamation situation because I didn't say that. But I understand that you're working off the internet, which is a lot of false information.
This is what it says.
I wish you luck with that. And Corey Lewandowski, we gave you time.
So
I appreciate you coming on.
President for that.
Thank you for joining me. Corey Lewandowski, Trump 2024, and we will be right back.
Yeah, that's about as far off the rails as a live TV show can go. I mean, it's hard to watch, man, but the reason I do think it's important to watch, the reason I sat you through that is because this is who these people are. You know, they want to talk about RFK Jr. and conspiracy theories. You know, they want to ambush their guests about lying to them 3 years ago. But when they get called out for their own lies and their own conspiracy theories, they completely lose their minds. They threaten to sue, right? And they swear to their own brain dead viewer victims that he never said that, right? That's just a Fox News right-wing lie. Never said it. But of course, I don't have to tell you that this poor guy absolutely said that.
And yet this was also showmanship by a politician known for his mastery of what they call unscripted reality TV. Taking this supremely visible seat in the VIP box with his new running mate and party leaders and a longtime TV personality, Tucker Carlson, up there as well last night. Here's how the New York Times put it. On the first night of this convention, Trump was his own biggest prop. He entered the VIP box, a large white bandage on his injured right ear, the result of a close call on Saturday with a would-be assassin's bullet. A reminder of mortality, a badge of survival. It was a blank rectangle on which the crowd could read what it wished, and that made it the most potent placard in the hall. That's fair. A placard for delegates to fill in, an image for political mobilization, a spectacle for this candidate who we know is, by his own admission, obsessed with assorted spectacles. Fox News, many viewers may not know about this, but apparently you do, and some do. Fox News, which has been caught in defamation, ran a false piece, falsely stating that I said something else that I didn't say. So I stand on that. I stand on the New York Times
quote. So you
quote.
didn't say this bandage was a prop, a spectacle from a candidate who was obsessed with spectacles.
Mr. Lewandowski, I did not say that. That is a false quote.
Right here. It's clear.
What you have is a false quote. What you have is a false quote. And I'm putting you on notice. If you continue to repeat falsely that I said that, you will be potentially in a defamation situation because I didn't say that. But I understand. a placard for delegates to fill in, an image for political mobilization, a spectacle for this candidate who we know is, by his own admission, obsessed with assorted spectacles. These aren't normal times. This is not a normal convention. Whether that makes it abnormal in a way that is either special or abnormal in a way that is bad is what voters will assess, because many are watching over the course of these nights, along with you and our team here.
It's wild, man. I mean, these people are so incredibly full of it, man. They're so full of it that they don't even know what they did or didn't say or what was true or what was lies. I mean, they have no clue. And honestly, they really don't care because it all serves their actual goal, which is to not talk about things that actually matter to actual people. And now they can claim that they're nonpartisan because they platformed Corey Lewandowski, but they don't have to run the risk of exposing their viewers to anything important or anything true. I mean, the average MSNBC viewer comes away from that with just reaffirmation that Bobby Kennedy is a crazy person and that Republicans are liars. And Ari Melber, the great debater and teller of truth, is going to sue them if they dare say anything untrue, right? I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's a freaking comedy, man. But this is who these people are. This is what they do. And this is unfortunately what we're up against. Actually, it's probably fortunate. It should be pretty easy to beat this time around. But that's all I've got, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.